Oh my God.
Stop, stop, stop.
There's another heavy entity that I'll share about at the milking barn.
Yeah. What's up, y'all? I'm Martin.
And I'm Jordan, and I'm terrified.
You should be, because we are here at Victoria's Black Swan Inn in San Antonio. And this is one of the most haunted places.
The most haunted place in San Antonio.
Oh yeah, Victoria's Black Swan Inn. One of the most haunted places in Texas, Victoria's Black Swan Inn.
It's also said to be one of the most haunted. Victoria's Black Swan Inn sits...
So you might wonder, what are we doing here? We review mattresses.
Yeah, I mean, we review mattresses. We talk about all things sleep and how things can affect your sleep, like quality of your mattress, diet, temperature of your room. We never really talked about how ghosts might affect it. And it is spooky season, so I was figuring we could talk about what it's like to sleep in a haunted house by actually doing it. Sound good?
Absolutely not.
All right, let's do it. Steven, how's it going?
Good, good. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks
being
for
here.
having us.
For sure.
This is Steven from the Curious Twins. So you want to give us the grand tour?
Yes, absolutely. So I like to start this tour talking a little bit about the history of the land. We are actually standing on an ancient burial mound that is 5,000 to 10,000 years old. You know, we think that is really one of the main reasons why this area is so haunted. The current owner, her name is Joanne Rivera, and she kind of compares the property to an old telephone switchboard in which spirits are able to come and go as they please. 115 people who have died here on this property since 1842. But y'all are here on a special night too, because it is the anniversary of the Battle of Salado, which took place here on this property September 18th, 1842. Throughout the years, a lot of people have experienced seeing full body apparitions of soldiers walking or running through this property. And so after the battle took place, we started having people come and live on this property about 20 years later. And so in 1941, we have the property sold to the Holbrook family. These were a kind of really eccentric family. These were two sisters. These two sisters had their own families, had their own husbands and children, but they wanted to put all of their money together to build kind of a gilded house. So they built the columns in front, the second story, the gables on top. They also built a left and a right wing for each of their individual families. Wow. And they called it the House of the White Gables. Are y'all ready to go inside the house?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Okay, y'all, let's go this way.
No choice.
This part that we're in right now is the oldest part of the entire house. So this does date back to the 1800s. But this being the oldest room, it is kind of active. We have a lot of people who experience seeing full body apparitions in this room. Jo has herself seen full body apparitions in this room. But primarily we get a lot of audio experiences here. We have people who will hear footsteps. Investigators will come and ask if there's a spirit around, can you knock for us? And they will hear a knock in response. There's a piano over here to my right, and that will sometimes play a couple of keys on its own.
All right, I'm Martin,
I'm Jordan.
and we are here with respect for any spirits in this house or the house itself. Just want to learn about your stories and anyone who might have lived in this house, been happy in this house.
We've heard there's a lot of activity in this room in particular.
I saw another little blink there. Was that you? If you could do that again.
Mm.
Did it do it again?
Yeah.
Again, we've seen you've communicated with us through our meter, but we also have motion sensors in this room. If you want to show us that way, the slightest movement will make them light up. There's one on the piano and one on the mantle, and the table to my left and the table behind me.
Oh, cool.
That's one of our motion sensors we told you about.
Thank you. We really appreciate you coming out and giving us confirmation that you're with us.
I know that the piano is important here, and that's been a way that you've communicated in the past, or the other beings and spirits in this house have communicated. We appreciate you reaching out to us. Did you live in this house? I'm going to take that as a yes. That was quite a display. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did you die in this house?
Was that you who lit up the motion sensor? Can you do it again? Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Well, welcome to Park Street's office. This is a really special room because it's actually the most active room in the entire house. And we think that it could potentially have something to do with Park Street's death. You see, after Jolene passed away in 1959, Park Street would end up remarrying. He would move off-site to a new house with his new wife, very close by, but he would maintain his office here. His children still lived here with their grandmother, but he would frequent back and forth for many years, up until 1965 when he dies. Now, the official cause of death on his death certificate would actually say death by asphyxiation. It was believed to be a suicide. However, there are some really strange and peculiar things surrounding his death. The first being the way that he was found. You see, he was found in his new house by his new wife. He had a necktie around his neck and it was tied to his four-post bedpost. But there were also some eyewitness accounts that said that he was found with his hands tied and tethered behind his back. So the way that he was found was really confusing. But to add to that confusion was an interesting statement by the second wife. You see, after this tragedy happened, she said in a newspaper article, she was being interviewed, that she did not notice that he was missing until he did not come downstairs for breakfast. Now, that very specific language, downstairs for breakfast, was peculiar because they only had a one-story house. There was no upstairs or downstairs. So that was just strange. But to add to this even further was the coroner's report. In the official coroner's report, the coroner wrote that they believed that the body had been tampered with and potentially moved from one location to another location. So this is Abigail. She is a really special doll, and it's believed that she does have a spirit attachment to her.
She's staring into my soul.
A lot of people say that they feel her staring into them. And she was always very docile. There would be people who would come and communicate with her, but nothing really heavy happened connected to her. But there was a couple from Lafayette, Louisiana, who did a private tour with us. And it was a husband and wife. They were really interested in paranormal investigation, and they loved Abigail. And they wanted to do some audio experiments with her. And so they had a recorder out, and instead of like asking questions, they decided, let's just butter her up. So they decided they were going to compliment her. So they're just saying, you know, you're so beautiful, what pretty eyes you have, I love your hair and that dress. At the very tail end of this recording, you hear a small voice say, you can take a picture if you like. And they believe they got the voice of Abigail encouraging them to document her.
That is insane.
It was really intense.
Oh my gosh. Do we want to go in here?
Let's go out here first.
We're at 39, 42. You see that? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're 41 in here, yo.
Yeah, it might be.
I don't know. That's just, yeah, because it was steady at a 9 even when she was behind me earlier. And even so, we're still at 22. That's a 49. 54. Yeah, that's crazy. The hallway has insane energy.
Should we try Abigail?
Sure.
Oh my god.
Did her hands just fall open?
Stop. I have full chills.
And this is all over the place.
That's wild. Yeah, I would record on your phone, Martin. So this is definitely the highest rating we've had. Thank you, Abigail, for grabbing our attention right away. Abigail, I'm gonna touch my reader to the glass to see if we can get just an even higher reading from you. That's okay, you can tell me if it's not. Wow. Thank you so much.
Hi.
That's very high. You have a lot of energy.
Well, I want to show you guys the milking barn.
Yes.
So let's head over there. the beginning of our time here, we actually had to warn people before they went in, especially if they were sensitive, like protect yourself, or maybe don't even go in. There was an aggressive spirit here, and his name was Heinrich Mahler, or Henry Mahler. And he was the patriarch of the Mahler family who had the dairy farm. And he was known to be a really strict businessman. People knew him and described him even as a slave driver, but particularly with men. He always had a soft spot for women, but the men who worked on his property, he kind of worked to the bone. And people knew if you were gonna work here at the Blue Bonnet Creamery, you were gonna work your butt off. At that point, men who were coming into the milking barn were getting scratched, their hair pulled, pushed, tripped, things like that. There was a gentleman who worked a barbecue food truck, and he was like a 6'4", former football player, but he was a skeptic. He did not believe in the paranormal, and he was kind of being a jerk about it. He wanted to prove everybody wrong. And so he told everybody, you know, I'm gonna prove you guys that nothing's gonna happen to me. I'm gonna go inside the milking barn, I'm gonna cuss out the spirits, and I'll show you.
Sir, bye. And
so naturally, a group of people gathered out front to see what was going to happen to this guy. He goes inside the milking barn, he's huffing and puffing, he's cussing out the spirit. And as he's walking out, he claims that there's some like invisible force that trips him. He falls face forward onto the asphalt here, busts his head open, starts bleeding all over the place. And at that point, he becomes a believer in the paranormal.
And he lives.
He lives.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Did you hear that, Steven?
Was it a creek?
Yeah. Back there.
Interesting. I'm actually going to take you back there after this.
Are you?
Is there a...
The door is moving.
It's moving?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just chilling.
Just chilling. You never know.
Did you get that, Emma?
Okay.
Since it's been transformed from storage, it's been a place of business, and all of the businesses have been women-owned. And it seemed like Heinrich's kind of energy has shifted a little bit. He's not as heavy as he used to be or aggressive, but there are still people who are kind of sensitive and have sense that Heinrich's around. But still, to this day, we have pretty intense experiences in here. There was a group of 6 people in here. They were doing an experiment with a ghost box, and they were recording, and they heard a blood-curdling scream from within the structure. They said it was as if it was like feet away from them.
There's a rat up there.
Oh, that's what that sound was.
Oh
a giant rat.
God, I've never actually seen a rat.
It just went outside. It
Oh
was up
my
on the
God,
top
I'm
there.
like,
Yeah.
I know y'all hear whatever is happening.
I was hearing movement too, and I was like, what is that? So I want to show you guys a room in the house that's really special, and it actually used to belong to Joanne Rivera's mother, and she actually died in the room that we're about to go into. And so let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to what we call Faye's room. And Faye is Joanne Rivera's mother. She died in here several years ago. And this has been a point of interest for a lot of investigators. Before Faye passed away, Joanne and her had a very serious conversation about coming up with a code word. And that code word was going to be really special because Joanne deals with haunts daily. And she thought, if I get this word, Mom, that comes through, I'll know that it's you and it's not any of the other spirits. So several months after she passed, Ghost Adventures came and they were doing a ghost box experiment. And ghost boxes, they scroll through radio stations. People believe that spirits can communicate through them. After about 12 minutes of using that ghost box, the word Bozier came through. And it was a really special moment for Joanne. And what was interesting is that Zach Bagans, he actually heard I love you. But after they replayed it, it was clearly Bozier. And Bozier was a place that Faye liked to go and gamble. It was a city that she was a big gambler. And we asked, like, what do you think of all the investigators tonight? And we got a response that said, well, they're just full of bullshit. And we were like, that is the funniest thing.
Wow.
Later, we became friends with Jo. We told her about this encounter, and she's like, yep, that's my mom. That's something that she would say all the time. It's a bell.
Okay.
A lot of people think it's a noose. Yeah, no worries, nothing to worry about here. This has been a place that a lot of people have experienced Jolene, the woman in white, and people have just seen her standing here looking over the property with pride. Sometimes Joanne has even gotten calls in the middle of the night saying that there's a trespasser on the property. She'll ask them to describe her, And she's like, oh, that's probably just Jolene, nothing to worry about. Well, there's a life-size dollhouse on this property that I want to take you to. It's right over here. Okay.
Say less.
Say less. All right, well, welcome to a structure we call the Dollhouse, but it's really a life-size playhouse. And it was built specifically for the daughter of Jolene and Park Street. And so this was built specifically for Jingles. And what we heard is that Jingles had trouble making friends. She was kind of a difficult child. And we did a couple of things. We put an audio recorder at the entrance, and we also tried to capture spirit photography. So we took several photos in the exact same spot so we can scroll through those photos and see if there's something in one that's not in the other. In one frame of those photos, we actually see what looks like a silhouette of a man with like a cowboy hat. It was really strange because the silhouette had glowing yellow eyes. It was the strangest thing we've ever seen.
You feeling okay? There's also spiders like everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
So, like,
it really
this,
adds to the spook factor. I trust you.
This one, so
Stop.
I think what we start with is trying to talk to Jolene.
Jolene, okay.
Yeah. Whoa. Oh, it's my phone.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna walk around just to see
Yeah.
if I get anything higher. So 3 seems pretty stable. Oh, 4. Got some 4. 3. So again, this is said that Jolene's like real full body apparition has been seen here.
Yeah.
And is kind and warm. So we'll see.
And so with all respect,
With all respects.
yeah, to Jolene, to all the spirits here, and to the space, Jolene, if you are here, can you give us any sort of sign by making this meter go up 1 or 2 spots? We're also recording.
Oh, we should introduce ourselves.
Yeah, and I'm Marten,
And I'm Jordan.
and again here just to learn about you, about your story. We understand that this is your space, your home,
We've been told that you're very kind and warm.
and you were a great hostess.
A wonderful hostess. We'd love to just hear from you. Or maybe just be given a sign that you're around.
Well, just went up a couple.
Jolene, we're just gonna move around. We still have our EMF readers.
Yep.
This is an area that we have experienced some things, and we believe it's connected to the single survivor of the Battle of Salado, the single Texian survivor, and his name is Stephen Jett. He seems to be a little bit flirtatious, a little touchy-feely, a little bit too touchy-feely in my opinion, because women throughout the years have claimed to have experiences with him, with their hair being caressed, a blow on the back of their ear, a touch on their chest, a touch on their thigh. Some have even described having a pinch on their behind. Stephen Jett's story is interesting because there's 2 different accounts of how he died. One account said he just died in the battle. Another account said that he survived the battle, but went to retrieve his horse along the Walls and Creek over here. And as he was getting his horse, he was ambushed by Native Americans and killed on the spot. Which story is true, we really don't know.
So it was pretty interesting for our first ghost hunt.
Yeah. Interesting is an interesting word to use.
I mean, we saw some stuff in here, and then in the doll bedroom.
In the doll bedroom.
I didn't really experience anything in the psycho
Mantium?
Mantium. I keep saying the wrong name.
Abigail had a lot to say.
Abigail.
Yeah.
And nothing really from Heinrich, the milk
barn.
The milk barn. So,
Which, yeah, I don't know if I'm like happy or disappointed.
I know. I was Steven actually really freaked me out. Where I was like, I do not want to be in there.
I got thrusted into this against my will.
Yeah. I know we review mattresses, and couches are definitely not ideal. But if you're in a haunted house, this might be your best option.
This is your only option, then it's your only option.
Yeah. So we will see you in the morning.
Or will we?